So today we celebrate the solemnity of Our Lady of the Immaculate Conception, the patroness of our country, the patroness of this diocese. And the reality of the Immaculate Conception is that Mary today is conceived in the womb of St. Anne, preserved from sin at the moment of her own conception. Right, 9 months from today would be September the 8th, which is the Nativity of the Blessed Virgin Mary. But here on this Solemnity for the Immaculate Conception, we have the reading from Genesis about how human beings fell into original sin, how Eve, being the first woman, under the manipulation, the lie, and the deception of the ancient serpent, she ate of the forbidden tree. She ate the fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, thinking that she would be made aware, given wisdom, be made like God. And when God confronts her and asks her, well, why are you and Adam hiding and covering yourselves? They say, well, we heard you in the garden and we became afraid. And so they fashioned for themselves fig leaves to cover their nakedness. They hid so that God couldn't see them, that God's presence wouldn't be made known to them. In the original sin, the woman is not only manipulated by the ancient serpent, but then when God confronts her about the sin, she blames God. She says, well, it's the serpent that tricked me into it. The serpent that you put in the desert, that you put here in the garden. The serpent made me do it. And she explains away her sinfulness. But today, as we celebrate the Immaculate Conception, we celebrate the undoing of that. That through the temptation of Eve, sin enters the world. So through the yes of Mary, the assent to grace that the Blessed Mother gives us, we have all of humanity now entered into salvation by her yes giving way to the birth of her Son, our Savior. You have this complete surrender into the will of the Father, where in the Garden of Eden we had this sin of pride, of shame, of hiding. We have Mary with open arms, fully accepting what God is giving her and asking her to do. We have this humility of trusting God's plan and not taking what she wants, but rather with an open hand allowing God to give her what is in store for her. In humility, salvation enters the world. In pride, sin had entered the world. And so with humility, we approach Christmas, continuing to pray more deeply, to work on the interior life and to move things that are not of God away from us, to move past sin, to move past insecurities, to let God into our lives, to pray more profoundly, and in humility to accept His most holy will.